Hello, good to see you. Pastor Sam with a reflection video on leisure. Leisure. Now, some of you are perhaps even today assuming that you are participating in leisure. Some of you may be frantically scarfing up awesome deals on various websites. Some of you might actually be in your car driving to a store. What a concept! Driving to a store in 2020. Wow. Some of you, however, may be thinking that you are participating in leisure. And since I haven't done this for a while, I'm going to recommend, ooh, wow, the color on the screen shifted a little bit. Recommend a book to you. Joseph Pieper, Leisure, the Basis of Culture. It's a title by every stretch. Joseph Pieper, the last two folks I have recommended are Catholics, and that just happens to be how things are. There is no ulterior endorsement of any kind, although now that I've said that, I'm sure you're going to read into it more than I needed. Leisure, the Basis of Culture. I'll have a link to it down below. It's probably a $20 book or something. That seems to be about what books go for. What was I going to say? Leisure, the Basis of Culture. I read this a while ago, and I probably need to read it again. My discussion, my thoughts on leisure are heavily influenced by my good friend Joseph Pieper. So if what I am saying is intriguing, if you would like to know more, you can of course come and talk to me, or you could read Joseph Pieper's book, Leisure, the Basis of Culture. Now that is quite a bold claim that he makes, that leisure is the basis of culture, that our I'm going to use some kind of strange words, our cult of humanity, not cult in drinking the Kool-Aid and committing suicide, but our cult of humanity is based on leisure. And we're going to get there. But before we talk about leisure, we have to talk about not its opposite. And that's kind of one of the points of this reflection video, that leisure's opposite is not work. But before we can talk about leisure, we have to talk about work. Now, some of you may actually be working today. I suppose that's an alternative I hadn't considered, especially if you may be in the medical field. You probably are working today because people get sick even on holidays. That is unfortunate, but that's just kind of how things are. What I want to talk about, and again, this book was written in 1952, which is, wow, the color is doing strange things again, which is like a long time ago, but it sounds like it could be written even today. 1952, coming right off of the heels of World War II. And now he uses this phrase that I very much like, and I want to describe it to you. It's the world of total work. The world of total work. And he draws that from the idea of total war. Now, in World War II, and some of you history buffs may already know this, you can politely sit silently while I help to educate our other friends. I better not say anything too offensive. Anyway, the world of total war. War used to be civilized. War used to be a civilized affair. I've got a friend here with me,
Hi.
Polly. I haven't had a special guest in a while, so I've got a special guest here. Anyway, the war used to be civilized. What I mean by that is that we had some dudes over here and some dudes over here, and they lined up and they tried to kill each other. Now, I realize that doesn't sound civilized, but these dudes were soldiers, and they were like soldiering at each other. And at the end of the battle, one side had some dudes left, and the other side had no dudes left, and the side with dudes won. What happened? There was this profound shift in World War II to the world of total war. And what I mean by that is bombing London. It is basically the prime example. Please don't be shaking those, Paul. Is the prime example of total war. Instead of lining some dudes up over here and some other dudes up over here and like shooting at each other, we dropped bombs on the city of London. Not we, but the Germans dropped bombs on the city of London, which had in it doubtlessly soldiers, but also doubtlessly had in it women and children. And war became this all-encompassing thing that the entire really the entire world was at war, and war affected and infected the entire world. So contrast this with, and again, you history buffs can bear me out on this, the Battle of Gettysburg. People brought a picnic lunch to the Battle of Gettysburg and like sat over on a hill watching these two lines of dudes try to kill each other. That sounds insane, but war used to be civilized. And then it became total war, which is how we know war. So that's why it sounds so insane. Work used to be civilized. Work used to be civilized. But now there's this realm of total work. And work affects and infects your entire being. Work can call you up at any hour of the day, and the phone just rang. How prescient. Work can call you up. Oh, there's a picture of my daughter. At any hour of the day, and you have to like do work. Maybe you have to go back into a building and do work, or maybe you can't see it because it's the device I'm recording on right now. Maybe you have some kind of computer or laptop or whatever at home with you, and you can like do work at home. Work affects and infects your entire life. You are basically always and only working. The world of total work. In contrast to, no, I have to say one more thing. There's also been, Joseph Pieper talks about this a little bit, and this was written in 1952, remember. He talks about the intellectual worker, work as knowledge. And so an example of this would be like stock market trading. Now, I had a conversation with an individual the other day, and I mean no disrespect to any people who are stock market trading. The trading on the stock market is a thing, and yet it's nothing at all. Right? What actually is happening as you buy and sell, especially if you're doing it in the same day as you're buying and selling shares? Well, nothing's really happening. It's not like somebody prints out and hands you even a piece of paper that says you have 100 shares in this certain company. And it's not like the company deposits that money in their bank account and then uses it to further their corporate, I don't want to say corporate interest because that is such a negative connotation, but their corporate goals. And then at the end of the day, you sell those shares and you like have to turn in that piece of paper and the company writes you a check. I mean, that's there's stuff happening, but really nothing is happening. It's sort of, I mean, I realize stuff's happening. That's the point. But like at the end of the day, if you bought 100 shares at the start of the day and sold 100 shares at the end, you have gained or lost some amount of money. Nothing has happened to the company. Like their bank account has had no impact. Nothing has happened, but yet work has occurred. People are stock market trade. That's like how they make their living, is trading on the stock market. It's this idea that work can be a performance of knowledge as opposed to the making of a physical thing. By performing knowledge, and I myself actually fall into this category too. I don't make anything. I don't make things for my job. I do knowledging stuff for my job. So maybe I'm a better example than poking at stock market traders. But like, I don't know why see, I don't know. I'm just trying to defend myself. I'll say I better not say that. That would be a dangerous thing to say. I do knowledge-y things for work, right? I make a Bible study, and it's not like a thing you can hold in your hand at the end of the day. It's the imparting of knowledge to other people. the idea of intellect and knowledge as work. And really as pervading, Paul, I need you not doing the clapping. I need you doing quiet things, okay? Thank you. Really, knowledge as work. And so you can call, again, there's a picture of my daughter. You can call me up at any hour of any day, and there's a reasonable chance that I will pick up. Now, I say that very specifically. I don't want to get into that, but there's a reasonable chance that I will answer your call, right? There's this world of total work where we always, only, ever work, which sounds like a bad thing, and it's a very dangerous thing. I won't say it's a bad thing. It's a dangerous thing. Because, and here's kind of where he gets into, what is leisure? I'm doing a reflection video on leisure, so I should probably at some point talk about leisure. What is leisure? Now, leisure and work are not opposites. We in the world of total work do not worky things in specifically and exactly an attempt to be able to go back and do work. Here's what I mean. You probably don't come home from a building anymore, but you power down your laptop and turn over your phone and you flick on the TV, or you turn your phone off of work mode and onto YouTube mode. Since you're watching this on YouTube, you probably know what YouTube is. And you like doom scroll with your phone through your feed, right? As a way to ultimately allow you to go back and do more work. It's an absolutely insidious thing. We have this world of entertainment, which is not leisure, of entertainment, which only exists to drive you back to the world of total work. Your entire life is work. And even the times that you think you are free from work or off of work are only there to prepare you to go back and return to the world of work. You only exist to work. Holy smokes, we've said a lot of depressing things. But I need to point out the problem so that the solution is, I just had a word and I lost it. So that the solution is, I hate when I lose words. Oh, I'm really upset because this was a good one. The solution is not reasonable, not appealing. I don't care if the solution is appealing or not. That the solution looks like a solution. That sounds so stupid. Against the world of total work, not as the opposite of work, but as an alternative to the world of total work is leisure. Okay, so what exactly is leisure? I should maybe begin to say some things. I keep putting this off. I need to talk about what leisure isn't. Okay, what leisure isn't. Because some of you think you're doing leisurely things. This is not leisure right now. You listening to my reflection on leisure is not leisure. Okay, this is not leisure. You doom scrolling through your phone, finding a video of my bright smiling face and clicking on it, that's not leisure. You, friend, are not being leisurely right now. So leisure is not non-activity. Leisure is not sitting in your chair, flipping through your phone, looking at all the pictures of all the people. Polly, not necklaces, please. Can you do building? Necklaces are too noisy. Okay, can you please build? Leisure is not, it's not non-activity or resting from activity. Again, that puts leisure into the world of total work and makes leisure into a thing you do when you're not working. That puts work first and foremost, and you a worker always and only. Leisure is not non-activity. It is not rest from work, because those things exist to drive you back into the world of total work. Leisure is a different thing. Leisure is an attitude. More than an attitude, though. It's this idea of a festival. A festival. And I use exactly that word, and only that word. Leisure is a festival. A festival. It is a festive attitude, first of all, but a festival in that ancient and historical entanglements of the word. Leisure is celebrating something. Celebrating something. Okay, I've said a little bit about what leisure is. I'm going to head back and talk about what leisure isn't. Part of the idea of leisure is affirming the world, is reflecting upon what the world is and affirming what is. And that has only religious association. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I want to talk again against, I want to talk a little bit about art, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I want to talk a little bit about art. Art is an expression of leisure. I have to be very careful how I say things, because the way that we think about what we think leisure is totally not what leisure is. And that's the hidden. The color gets really weird when I do this. That white is much whiter than my white. I think that's why it gets thrown off. What we think leisure isn't leisure. Leisure is a different thing. And art is maybe the last. No, I won't say that. Art is one of the last hints of leisure. Broadly, the arts are one of the last places where leisure is properly performed. And again, the world of total work is so all-invasive. I'm trying to use very derogatory terms, because the world of total work is I may not say it's an abomination, but it's pretty darn close to an abomination. It is reducing mankind to slavery. There we go. How's that for a soundbite? The world of total work exists to make you only a worker, which basically is slavery, right? So the arts are one of the last places where leisure can be found. The arts are there. See, now I need to be careful. Have you ever been to a modern art exhibit? It's like really weird, right? Art is, among other things, a reflection upon life. And our lives are honestly very ugly and very boring and very one track. And so here's what I mean. Now, this is already a few years old, and I'm sure the world of art has moved on from this. But I was dining with my wife. I was out on a date with my wife. This was back when we were in St. Louis. So this is 3 or 4 years ago. And we were sitting in a restaurant that was opposite an art museum in downtown St. Louis. And one of the art exhibits was cardboard boxes and rubber bands. Now, beauty is always in the eye of the beholder. So, but the art was cardboard boxes and rubber bands. And art is, in one thing, a reflection upon our lives. Our lives are so tragic and boring and stupid that their reflection is cardboard boxes and rubber bands. Like that caused me to reflect upon, why would an artist represent cardboard boxes and rubber bands? Well, because the life experience of that artist is probably representative of many people, and it is the world of cardboard boxes and rubber bands. Like, uh, everything has, it's this idea of everything having a purpose, and the artist wanting to shine a light upon that idea of things exist for a specific purpose. Cardboard boxes exist to ship the stuff you buy on Amazon to your door. Rubber bands exist, I don't know, because he needed something else, right? But our world is so UPS packages and like online shopping, and our world is cardboard boxes. There you go. How's that? Still in my office from when I got here, by the way. Our world is the world of cardboard boxes. Anyway. And so the art was reflecting upon the poverty of our lives. Wow, I've gotten quite a field from the world of leisure. But the arts are one form where leisure is still found. And when a life is lived, I need to be very thoughtful about how I say this. When a life is lived in leisure, it leads to vibrant art. It leads to, I don't want to say beautiful art, because I already said beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It leads to multifaceted art. It leads to a life aligned with God's design. Is kind of where I'm coming. And here's where it's a theological reflection. Here's where I'm going to make my skin look really orange. Ha! Here's where Joseph Pieper's point rings home. Leisure is a celebration, a festival, and there is no festivity without the gods. Now, I use the lowercase g plural form intentionally. Of course, as a Christian, for me, there's only one, and it's the God who made all the stuff. But broadly, even a non-Christian can engage in leisure, in a celebration of what he or she thinks the gods are and thinks that they have done. But there is no festivity without the gods. Leisure is an assent to the world that is. By that I mean an agreement with, an acceptance of the world that is. Leisure is found in the arts, like I said. Leisure is found firstly, primarily in worship. Worship is a form of leisure. There you go, friend. How's that for another soundbite? Worship is a form of leisure. A festival, a festive attitude, a celebration of the world that is, an assent to the God who created the world, an agreement with him that the world is good, that creation is very good. Leisure is found in worship. Worship is leisure. I'm going to laugh a little bit because that hurts too much to just let go. Worship is leisure, right? It's a festival. It's the celebration of what God has done. Now, again, I always harken back to history. I like history, which my high school social studies teacher would not have agreed with. But anyway, that's beside the point. All of the festivals, all of the holy days, all of the holidays are days of reflection upon and celebration of what the gods have done. I'm gonna broadly speak, and then I'll narrowly speak. Our reflections upon what the gods have done. What just happened yesterday? Therein lies the timeliness of this video. What happened yesterday? You did Thanksgiving. A celebration of, a reflection upon the deeds of the Lord, the things that God has done for you. And hopefully you did the cliche thing where everybody goes around the table and says a thing that they're thankful for. That's okay. That's fine. It's ultimately cliched, but it's a reasonable thing to do. Those are things that God has done for you. Holidays cannot be separated from worship. You cannot reflect upon the wonders of God's world, the deeds that he has, the mighty and gracious and powerful deeds that he has done for you without worship. That is apostasy and forsaking of I'll just say trust in him, right? To think that you can reflect upon and agree to the wonders of creation without worshiping God is ludicrous. It is insanity of the highest order, right? To say that God's world is good and that he is good because of what he has done, and yet refrain from worshiping him is bad. I've used big words. I'll use little words too. It's bad. It's bad, right? Leisure is found primarily in worship, and the festivals, the holy days, the holidays, even of the world, are rooted in the gods, broadly speaking. Again, of course, our Christian holidays are rooted in the only true God, but even Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. I'm thinking of like the Catholic feast days, St. Michael and all angels, right? Now, there's no greeting card for St. Michael and all angels, but the feast of St. Valentine is again a remembrance upon the martyrdom of this dude named Valentine, who was an historical person and did historical deeds, showing the love and grace of God to people. The feast of St. Patrick is reflecting upon the deeds of this dude named Patrick, who did things because of his faith in God. Now, there's some holidays that do not have. I need to be really careful. There are some days that we give people off from work to allow them to not work in an insidious attempt to shove them right back into the world of work. Days which have no assent of God's goodness, days which have no connection to God, no thanks and praise and worship of him, days which are designed to praise ourselves. And that's like not a good thing. Leisure is agreement with the world God has made. Leisure is time for silence to reflect upon God's world. Leisure is a celebration. I don't know where to go from here. I wasn't trying to be clever and being silent for you. I've told you what leisure is and what it isn't. Hopefully in an attempt to help you be leisurely. To take time to reflect upon God. To not engage in activities which only serve to prepare you. I'll use my prop, which only it's ruining it because I'm not logging in, which only serve to prepare you to return to work, but activities which connect you to the God who made all things. Activities which cause you to reflect upon him, to give thanks for what he has done, and therein find rest. Not sleep, not pausing from work, but rest. to find rest. I have no delusions about what will come out of this. The world of total work is all-encompassing. And I wonder if my children will have the courage to break free from the world of total work. Maybe that's my only hope. I'll see you next time.